Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Midgard Golf. And we're back out here today, well, still here, I should say, playing the South Course at the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club in Aloha, Oregon. Absolutely gorgeous course indeed, and boy, we're sure having a good time playing it. And playing pretty decent, I should say. I mean, shoot, if it wasn't for that one double that I had on the front nine there, I'd be sitting real pretty right now. But hey, that's golf, right? Sometimes holes just don't go your way. And if this is the first video that you're watching, then thank you for checking out the channel here. And if you smash that like and subscribe button, well, mainly that subscribe button, then I'm just a handful of subscribers as I record this now away from giving away another Midgard Golf hat. And there's only two ways to get a Midgard Golf hat, and that is to win one of those giveaways or to be featured on the channel. So I don't sell them, so pretty exclusive hat indeed. Very rare. So anyway, hit that subscribe button if you're liking the content. Anyway, off to this 10th hole here in this first hole of this video. So a modestly lengthy par 4 we're dealing with here, playing for us, and we're playing from 2 up here. So playing for us at 415 yards and tipping out at 479 yards. So yeah, pretty healthy indeed. And yeah, certainly not the easiest hole on this course, that's for sure. So down the left side of the fairway, it's tree lined pretty much the entire way until you get to the creek that bisects the fairway about 3/4 of the way down the fairway. Off to the right side, you've got your one lone fairway bunker there. Yeah, to the right of the fairway, so not in the middle of the fairway there. And then a healthy chunk more of trees there with some kind of yellow grassy pine straw sort of terrain to deal with as well. So anyway, take heed of all that. Really demands kind of an accurate tee shot here. And then after you make your way down this fairway, and I would take caution as to try to stay short of that creek, because if you really pound one down there, then you'll probably just find yourself in it, which would be unfortunate. But anyway, after that, should be pretty easy to clear that. And then that same creek will run the rest of the way down the fairway up to the green down the left side of that remaining fairway and end in a little pond that will border the green all around the left side there. And then on the back right, you've got one more green side bunker, and that's about it. So, driver in hand, I'm just going to try to hit a cut over this left line here and float it out somewhere nicely in the middle of this fairway. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 11th hole in the first par 3 of this video here in this back 9. So, yep, just a kind of a friendly par 3 here. Well, I guess not all that friendly. Now that I'm really thinking about it. So you've got a bit of force clearance right in front of you here with a little baby pond that feeds another creek that will run you all the way up the right side, just to in front of the green on the right there. So, and that green plays as a double green that it shares with the 17th hole. So if you happen to see players way off to the right side on the green there, pretty good chance that they're playing 17 and not actually this hole. So yeah, be leery of that. Off to the left there, you've got a healthy stack of trees that are just waiting to catch snap hooks over there, off into the forest there, so definitely don't want to be in that. And then directly in front of you is, of course, that nice giant bunker that's right in front of the green there. So, yeah, you definitely don't want to be short on this green, that's for sure. You do have a fair amount of distance to miss long. Yeah, I mean, you've got that giant kind of greenside bunker that plays on 17 and this hole, number 11 here, off to kind of the back and right from this perspective. So, I mean, you might end up in that, but you'll be A-okay. Yeah, and it'll be kind of a downhill, sand trap shot out of that, so it shouldn't be that hard to get out of. So, if I was you, and if you're in between clubs for the yardage here, I would certainly take the longer club and just try to shave a little bit off of it in order to make the distance here. And, I mean, it really just requires a well-struck tee shot there. If I had to pick, which direction that you'd want to miss, I'd probably have to say the left. You have more room to miss left than you do right. But, yeah, not a whole lot. So, yeah, hit a good shot here, that's for sure. So, with 171 yards staring us in the face here, and the tips being at 208, well, for me, I am taking that 8-iron, and I'm just going to try to shave a little bit off of it. So, let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 12th hole. And just a short little par 4 for us here. Playing for us at 299 yards and tipping out at just 340. So, I mean, it could be driven, no doubt. But, I mean, the hole does kind of crawl uphill gradually for pretty much the entire hole. So, probably playing a little bit longer than that. Don't really know how to guesstimate that yardage. Maybe about 10-15 yards longer than the number there, but either way, I mean, you could go for it if you're a big hitter here. But do you want to? That's the question. So it's a slight dog leg left that we're dealing with here, and you've got 3 very strategically placed bunkers there to catch your ball if you happen to hit one errantly. So obviously you want to draw shape in order to try to get close to this green or on it. And if you do, then you've got that one bunker right in the middle of the fairway, about 50, 60 yards or so short of the green that you really don't want to be in. That will be an awkward shot out of there for sure. And then you've got another greenside bunker there that covers pretty much the entire front left of the bunker. So if you do make the yardage and you just kind of overdraw it a little bit, then you're just going to be in that anyway. And then if you happen to just kind of block one out to the right, you've got a kind of guardian bunker over there, short and right, to catch your ball from that. And that actually would not be, that's about 100 or more yards, a little over 100 yards I'd say, away from the green. So that's a fairway bunker length there. Shouldn't be all that awkward of a shot if you happen to end up in that. Just past that bunker on the right, you've got a pretty healthy amount of rough to work with. If you happen to clear that and end up out there, won't be the worst shot in the world. Let's see here. And then off to the left, you've got heavy foliage pretty much the entire way, all the way down this hole. And past the green, I mean, you've got very, very little room to miss long, and it's a very steep slope down to that foliage past the green if you happen to fly it. So yeah, you kind of got to play this hole cautiously, I would think. It's really risk reward here, and a whole lot of risk for the reward. Since yeah, I mean, still at $3 from our tee box and $3.40 from the tips, not overly confidently drivable, but possible. So anyway, I'm just taking a 2-iron, and I'm looking out there saying, you know what, I just want to put one out there in the fairway somewhere and give myself hopefully a nice easy full swing to try to send it way up in the air and stab this green. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 13th hole. Boy, that last hole, huh? That's how you turn what should have been an easy hole into a double real quick. Unfortunate, but hey, what are you going to do? It is what it is. We move on. So, 367 yards is what we got on this hole, and it tips out at 418. So pretty modestly healthy par 4 here. And definitely not a layup hole. That's for sure. Most of the trouble that you've got on this hole here is short. So, yeah, you've got those 2 fairway bunkers that you can see from the tee box there. One short right and one slightly longer to the left. And then the hole cants ever so slightly to the right. But, yeah, by and large, it's pretty much a straightaway hole. Let's see here. As you work your way down the fairway there, I mean, yeah, you've got kind of opening there off to the right and left. Although you've definitely got a more thinning of trees, I would say, off to the left than you do the right. But yeah, the right runs out quite a bit shorter there. So yeah, I mean, you could really miss either direction here and probably be pretty okay. So I wouldn't worry about much. Just try to get all the distance that you can. Definitely, I mean, the fairway widens up the further you hit it as well. So definitely it rewards the bigger hitters out there. So let the big dog eat, grip it and rip it, and poke it out there as far as you can, I would say, on this hole. Once you're making your approach up onto the green, you've got one more greenside bunker that's just right in front and right in the middle of the green. So you've got that to contend with. But yeah, that's about it. So, and you've got all the room to miss long in the world on this green here. So, yeah, if you're in between clubs, I'd say, you know what, spare yourself the bunker shot and take a little more club and make sure you get over that. So, let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 14th hole here. Well, rather, we're just kind of on the 14th hole. But anyway, so easiest hole on the course here, just a little short par 3. 138 yards for us and tipping out at 176. So actually pretty meaty from the tips there, but for us, not that bad at all. Playing pretty level too, so playing probably around the number. So, I mean, what you see is what you get. You got that one sizable bunker there off to the front left and another one off to the right side of the green. And, I mean, you could miss a pretty healthy distance long and left and be pretty safe there. To the right, you've got less room to miss. And then off to the back, you've actually got some kind of shorter grass to play with as well if you happen to nail one slightly long. So, yeah, if I was you, and if you're in between clubs for the yardage here, I would actually take the long club and then, yeah, kind of send it up there for that. Maybe take a little off of it, kind of just like the last par 3. So, yeah, same game plan. So, 138 yards, that would either be a muscled up 52 for me or kind of a smooth and soft gap wedge. So I'm going with the gap wedge. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 15th hole, and the easiest hole and the last one there being followed up by this one being the number 2 handicap, the hardest hole on the back nine. And every time that's a par 5, as we all know, that means that it's probably a doozy of one. So, anyway, playing for us at 491 yards and tipping out at 567. Not overly long yardage-wise, but I mean it's fairly narrow for the fairway, and it only gets more narrow the further down you go. So it's a slight dog leg left here. I mean, yeah, not a crazy dog leg, but I mean it does turn a little bit to the left. The hole does kind of a tiny little crescent moon. Anyway. So, yeah, a draw is definitely the preferred shape here. If you can pull that off, just a baby draw. So, anyway, yeah, give that what you can. Let's see here. So, for the whole strategy here, obviously you've got that giant tree over there that's kind of blocking off the right side of the fairway, off the tee box here. But once you get past that, you've got one more bunker right in the middle of the fairway that will stand between you and your runway up to the green. Once you do get to the green, there'll be a greenside bunker off to the front left and front right, and that's all that you've got to worry about. So, I've got the driver in hand, and I'm just going to try to float one out there gentle and maybe turn it over if I can and get a tiny bit of a draw. That's what I'm going for anyway. So, let's give it a rip and see what we can do. right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 16th hole. Made it to the stretch. And how about those last two holes, huh? Bogey the 18th handicap on the course, and then turn around and birdie the number 2 handicap on the course. Well, I love this game. And here we are coming up to a relatively short and gorgeous par 4 here. Playing for us at only 295 yards and tipping out at only 334. So absolutely drivable indeed. That said, pretty narrow all the way down there, and it's tree lined pretty well on both sides of the fairway. And I mean, that's kind of negated as you get just about past halfway down the fairway on the right side, because you've got bigger problems than that to worry about there, because you've got a nice little creek that'll run you all the way down the rest of the way, down the right side of the fairway, and kind of edge the green out as well off to the right there. So definitely, if you're going to miss to the left. Yeah, that's really the only place that you can miss and keep your ball generally safe. So apart from that, you've got 2 fairway bunkers that are about equidistant down the fairway on the left and right side. So if you happen to hit that short distance, then yeah, you've got the same trouble either way you go. However, your angle on the green will still be better from the left side bunker. So no matter how you spin it, the left side is absolutely the better side miss. So make sure you get this one hugging that left side. And then once you get down to the green, well, apart from that creek that's off to the right side of the green, that's really all you got to worry about. So driver in hand, and yeah, I'm just going to try to punch one down there and see how close I can get to this green and maybe drive it. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 17th hole. Another incredibly beautiful hole, in my opinion, here. And a pretty tough one at that. So, yeah, all the way down the left side of this hole, you're dealing with this nice long creek. I mean, all the way up through the left side of the green. So, no matter what you do, off to the left, you've got water to worry about. It is a dogleg left, so, I mean, you would think that you kind of want to draw on this hole, especially to kind of hug that side and make up some good yardage, considering that from our tee box it's 410 yards and from the tips it's 473. So quite a lengthy par 4 at that. But looking at the hole here, in actuality, right, if you can stay out of that bunker off to the right side there, and then you've got 2 more bunkers to worry about as you get up to the green. Yeah, and both of those will also be on the right side. However, yeah, if you can just put one just to the left of that fairway bunker there off to the right there, in my opinion, that will yield you the best angle up onto this green if you're short of the cart path. Now, if you really hammer one way down there and you can jump the cart path past that bunker there off to the right and end up on the sort of latter half of the fairway, as the cart path crosses, over the hole there, it starts off on the right side and then ends up on the left side of the hole. Then, from there, you're just going to have a nice little flip wedge, maybe a full sand wedge at most to get home from there. But that is one colossally long drive to get there. So, anyway, just to the left of that bunker there, off to the right side that you can see off on the tee box, is certainly the line that I would pick in order to give you an angle that will be absent of trees and will let you kind of pick whatever shot shape you want and not be forced to hit some kind of a crafty draw up onto this green with the danger of that creek off to the left side of that green once you get up there. So, anyway, driver in hand, and I'm just going to try to hit a little cut up there and see if I can't do exactly that. So, let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 18th hole and our final par 5 of the day here. Boy, I just love courses that end with a par 5. It gives you that chance, to hit a couple of big shots and get up on that green and give you one more chance for an eagle or a birdie, whatever the case. I love it. Love to see it. So, and this one, absolutely gorgeous hole leading you on into the clubhouse. So, before we get into the hole here, I really want to extend a big thank you to you guys again, if you stuck around this long, for watching another video with us here at Midgard Golf. And again, smash that like button and that subscribe button. We've got some really, really great content coming your guys' way. I've got a pretty serious backlog of content to edit up and hang up on the channel right now. And it's some really great golf with Pops and I, playing in Portola, California, and another round in Truckee, California, and then a couple of rounds in Reno, Nevada. So, it's going to be a really great winter of content that I'm going to be hanging up. So stick around, and it's going to be some really cool stuff. So anyway, back to this hole here. Playing for us at 504 yards and tipping out at 578. So, modestly healthy par 5 here indeed. But gettable, certainly from our tee box. It's, definitely gettable at just 505 there. Just got to hit a pipe drive. And this hole definitely rewards the big hitters out there. So yeah, that grouping of trees you can see way out in the distance there on the left side, that's a long way down there. So you really don't have to worry about that in the slightest. And that grouping of trees there off to the right runs out real quick. So after you pass those trees, you can miss pretty severely in either direction and keep your ball, findable. So yeah, I really wouldn't worry about, missing in either direction here. Play whatever shot that you fancy and just pound it as hard as you can. This hole definitely rewards players who just hit it far. So it is as much as you can get out of this tee shot, get it. After that, so you shouldn't be having to worry about that fairway bunker that's really shortened to the right there. And if you're in it, oh boy, I'm so sorry. That's going to turn this into a really long hole for you. But if you do pass that and you're not worried about that anymore, for the rest of the hole, you've got 4 more bunkers to deal with. One quite a ways down there off to the right side, and another bunker that's kind of this weird amoebic shape with a little kind of patch of grass right in the middle of it for no reason off to the left side that's about, 50 yards or so short of the green. Once you find your way up to the plateau green there, you're going to have another bunker with kind of a high lip off to the front left and another one that's kind of awkwardly short right. So, yeah, I would definitely say a cut, as this is a slightly dogleg right hole, ever so slightly, is the preferred shape there. Just make sure you absolutely hammer that cut and get past those trees off to the right there. And that should give you the best angle to try to get up on this green in 2, for sure. So, driver in hand, and I'm just going to try to smash it as hard as I possibly can. So let's give it a rip and see what we can do. I hope you guys enjoyed this last hole here. And as always, I hope that all of you have an absolutely wonderful day.